So the intervention is in English, yeah, because Frank understands very well French, but he is more fluent in English. So I let Frank to introduce himself and to explain us the key of the market, of the Chinese market. So thank you, Frank, for coming with your colleague today.
Thank you. I can use this. Okay. Okay. Thank you for coming. And at first, I must thank for the many thanks for the AHIC and the BC help. So we can organize a meeting to talk about some information and some interesting story. And because I have spent more than 1.5 years to meet with lots of the Pudong companies, so I have lots of the story to share with you. And of course, I have asked much of the Chinese distributor and platforms reply. So I'm glad to share with you what they are thinking about and what they want. And there's some troubles that I think for the most of the companies to develop a Chinese market. So, okay, we can share with our presentation. And if you have some question, we can talk it later in privately, or we can discuss which problem or which question you have interest. So, okay, let's start. At first, I want to use a data report. So maybe most of the people will interested why I select this report and this date to share with you. But you know, in Chinese market, it's complicated. And we have the Chinese regulation from the government. So we choose the cross-border market. This is the easiest way to enter the Chinese market. Because in France, it's different. In Europe, it's different. But in China, the cross-border market is the easiest. So even you don't have the CFDA for like cosmetic products, you don't have the CFDA authorization. And for the healthy products, you don't have the CFDA authorization. And the part of products, even you don't have the CNCA authorization, you can try it. It's the best way to start your business. But we can get a conclusion from the date. Depends on the recent years. Everybody can see why I choose the Alibaba Group data report. Everybody know they are the #1 internet and e-commerce company. So they are the most important marketplace. So they have the data report for each year. In this report, we can see this market share is increased. It's okay. Increase almost 20 to 25 for each year. And maybe in the 20 and 90 years, next year, during the next year, the market share, the marketplace will be 80 billion US dollars or euros, 18 billion euros. So this is the best marketplace you can start with it. And from the market share, you know, for most of the French companies, it's not good position. And the best one is Japanese, American, Australian, Germany. If you have interest, how much for the French companies for the market share in China? I'm afraid almost 1%. So this is only the market share that for all French companies you have take place in the Chinese market. So that's a lots of problem from the marketing and from everything. So during this meeting, I want to talk with you and discuss with you what happened and why Australian people and American people, they are successful. So what is the difference and how can keep up with them? So this is the real problem I want to share with you. But I know after I discuss with lots of the maybe 30 or 40 Pudong companies. I have some conclusion and maybe help for you. So this is the market share for the next year, Chinese cross-border market, for almost 80 billion euros. And it's big enough. So normally there's top five for the marketplace. Everybody, I think French people are familiar with Amazon. But if you ask me the market share for the totally internet or e-commerce market share, the Amazon only take 2% in Chinese market. So they are not successful. But for the cross-border business, it's good enough, almost 10%. So totally for the number one is the Alibaba, Tmall global business. They take 27, almost 28%. So the number two is the NetEase is another internet company, but they are different from the business model. So they are easy to get more and more market share. Normally, I will introduce later. And the number two is the JD.com, and they have the cross-border business like worldwide, JD worldwide. It's the same kind of like a Tmall Global. It's a cross-border. They don't need too much authorization from the government, and you can easy to start your business in Chinese market. And the fourth is the VIP.com. VIP.com, I think everybody are already familiar with the Vente Privée in France. They are the copy of the Vente Privée, but difference. So, but some difference is they are locally for Chinese market. So they normally select at the beginning they select a Chinese local brand to develop the Chinese market. But now they are increase more and more global import products because Chinese market and Chinese customer need this kind of products. So they have an international department. So we can call them VIP International. Total for the, okay. Cross-border compared to the totally e-commerce market in China, almost 20 to 25, and the increase of each year. Amazon, I think I already familiar with him, but they are just 2% in Chinese market for the e-commerce. So forget about it. So okay, so this is the most important data I want to share with you. The market share by country. So you must understand why. The number one is Japanese. So maybe in France it's hard to buy Japanese products, but in China we are familiar with them. We have the same for food, so like we have the same taste, and we understand each other. So they are easy to take the market share. So they are the number one in Chinese market. And number two is American. We all know American products normally is cheaper than European. So it's true, and nobody can change it. And the number three is Australian. But I hope you can take most attention to Australian. Why? They are successful in Chinese market. The number four is Germany. Germany is successful on some kind of products. And Korea, okay, I don't like Korean products, but Chinese people like it because it's cheaper, and their packaging is very beautiful. It's important. It's cheaper and beautiful. Look like beautiful. Nobody care about because at first nobody understand which the difference between French products and Korean products, especially for the cosmetic. So they are good at cosmetic products, and they are good packaging. So everything. So they're successful. So it's true. Nobody can change it. And so this is the market share by country in 2017. And this is very interesting for the product select. You know, for each country, if you want to develop a new market like a Chinese market, you must select the best products. I have some story from the French company, a bottom company. If you select like a pig patty, I think you understand patty products. Actually, in China, we don't eat baguette, so we don't know how to use the patty to eat with rice. So this is a misunderstanding. I know it's this story, but it's normally a problem for the French company. You must understand which your customer like, and they are eating every day what kind of products. You cannot change their habit so easy. So this is the main problem to enter the for you to derive the Chinese market is understand your customer. For Japanese, we select the number one is diaper. So I know Britannia have some better diaper products. They claim to be the number one of the French market, but they are totally failed. I have met with their representative in Shanghai, and I know what happened. And later I will share their story and why and what happened. Maybe they need several years to find a good solution, but now it's difficult. And the facial mask, I know lots of the Britannic companies have their facial mask or for spa cosmetic products, but you know, Japanese is the number one. So you want to change the quality and the impression in customer by customer. So it's difficult. They are really a competitor. And the beauty tools, of course, for the electronic products for beauty. I know some French companies have the same kind of products, but Japanese is the number one. They are successful. For French products, I know they have go to the Cosmoprof in Hong Kong, but nobody selected. For number two of the United States, actually, their nutritional supplement is the best seller products in Chinese market. Of course, I have compared with the price and the products. Normally, the French products, the price is double to American products. So how can you persuade the Chinese customer to select French and not American? So this is a problem. Who knows? Who can tell me nobody can tell me what's the difference. Like omega-3, I like this kind of products. American is the cheapest. So they are very successful. And for the enfant nutrition, I think this is just like the adult products. And the ladybag, you don't have this kind of products, so we don't need to talk about it. For the Australian, they are good at the nutrition supplements. It's the same. So I hope you can understand Australian products is cheaper, and they are good at marketing. They always have some good concept for healthy, for anything. So why they are successful on Chinese market? There are some reason, and we can talk it later. For Germany, you know, even their best-seller products is belong to the French company, Aptamil. I think you understand it belong to the Danone group. Aptamil, it belongs to the Danone group. They are most successful baby milk products in Chinese market, but they are made in Germany. And the Korea, they are good at cosmetic products. So if you want to develop the Chinese market, you must know how to compete with them. So from this, I select top 5 countries, which kind of products they are successful. But you must understand, for each kind of products, they are successful on branding. For the diaper, we only select 1 or 2 brands from made in Japan. And from the United States, we only select maybe 2 or maybe 3 products. And Germany, Australia, for only 1 or 2 brands. So only a few companies are successful. The others, nobody knows them, so they are difficult. I know some Australian nutrition companies. They believe they are successful in Australia, but Chinese customers don't know them, so they failed again. it doesn't mean you come from Australia, you will be successful. Actually, I want to talk in the later. We must focus on the branding. So we must build your branding in Chinese market. Otherwise, even you come from the Australia, the same kind of products, nobody can sure you will be successful. And for this competition analyst, I create a new word, MVP, most valuable products. They are successful during last year. So this is the country, from Greece to Denmark. I believe Denmark is a competitor for all the Brittany biscuit companies. You must take care of this case. Why and how they're successful, and totally their export to Chinese market is almost for each year $500 million US for biscuit products. This data is coming from the China customers, but all the consulting data need to pay. So I don't have too much, but I know for French market, for French biscuit export to Chinese market, only 100 million US dollars. So they have 5 times for French. Why? And we can talk it later. There are some good story we can share. And for Greece, you know, Greece, that's Actavita. Maybe you never know this cosmetic brand, but that's successful. They are the healthy products, and they are Cosmobile. They have like the bio product, cosmetic products, but only 1 or 2 brand products they are successful in China. It's enough. Its market share is enough for the country. And the Chile one is cheapest, but less successful. I understand the French people are proud for you Bordeaux, but that's a problem. Chile is increasing for every year, and the Spanish and the Italian are increasing every year. For the sparkling one, I know for the Loire, I have interest. I give a date. Italian people take 50% of the Chinese market, and the Spanish take the 15%. And for French, only the same 15%. So Italian guys are smarter. So it's a problem for the Loire sparkling to develop Chinese market. I have contacted lots of platforms. Normally, they say no, and they will think about it, because the branding and the customer don't familiar with the Loire. So this is a problem. And for the chocolate, Hungary is increased, and for the some cosmetic products, Poland, I think we will never. But this is the focus. I will talk it later. We will focus on the Spanish cosmetic. They have a good success story during last year, but we have failure story from the French, the same. But cooperate is they want all of them want to cooperate the Chinese market and Chinese partner, like Alibaba Group. But if we compare with the 2 cases, you'll find there's some problem, and we can talk it later. And Malaysia now is, and maybe Indonesia, they are competitor for French biscuit products. But I think you never know, but it happened in Chinese market. They used the Denmark cookie concept to create a new brand, and in all the Chinese internet and the supermarket, it's everywhere. So they only use a Denmark cookie concept to create a new brand. Maybe Indonesia or Malaysia, they take the market share. And for the Brazil, they have the, I don't care, the sandal and the slippers. This is the honey products. I know some honey products from the Loire, but you know, the Brazil companies are increasing. So I hope you can compare with them. But there's another story for the New Zealand or Australian. We can talk it later. Why they are good at marketing? Why Chinese customer would like to choose their products with double or triple price compared to the French products? Okay, and okay, I have talked about Denmark cookie. We can talk it later. This is the success story for the Spanish cosmetic. And I think maybe in French markets, they are not successful. You have lots of the big companies like L'Oréal, like Coty, like lots of the companies. They are like BF Faber. You have this lots of famous brands. But for Britannic companies, you don't have the strong, you're not stronger on branding. But so you must know, you must have to find a new concept, a new product to enter the Chinese market. So the French companies, the Spanish companies, these kind of 6 companies, they work together to create a new concept like Ambu. It's not a new concept, actually. But for the cosmetic, the Spanish is the first to introduce to Chinese market. And all of them have the same kind of products. And all of them are successful. And when the new concept products are successful, the other products come to the Chinese market and will be popular soon. So this concept and this success story I would like to share with you. For the multi-derm esteem, they are now increasing maybe 100, maybe 200% for each year. And for the date, multi-derm, the first 5 months, they get 20 million yuan, almost 3 million euros for first 5 months. So that's successful the last year. And for this project, actually they cooperate with Alibaba Group. So that's Alibaba Group have a different office in each country. They have the French in Paris. They have the another office in Spain. They have the competitor. But the Spanish division, they are success because all these companies they have the competition and their products. They would like to take the risk, of course, and some of the cost, and they are cooperative for the Chinese market. So, you know, it's a ceremony. Everybody are happy. It's the ceremony and the meeting. They recruit the cosmetic companies in Spain. So they are very successful. So maybe you don't familiar, Esteem is famous, Multiderm is famous. You can see in the French pharmacy, I think. But for this kind of products, it's not familiar, but in China, they are successful enough. Chinese market is enough. During the several days ago, I read a newspaper from the Spanish company. They told me for this company, last year, the revenue they come from the Chinese market is equal to the last 70 years their revenue in Spain. So you must understand, Chinese market is big enough. They are magic, but you need to work hard. You need to have some creative, or you need work on the marketing and the branding, and then you will have the lots of the opportunity. Okay. Okay.
I did not really understand the thing about the meetings.
Okay.
Do they organize meetings?
They organize a meeting. They hope lots of the Spanish company to join them. You know, that's another photo to discover the European discovery. And you know, at the beginning, Chinese market, Chinese customer don't know this brand before. So this all new products or new brand, new companies for Chinese market. So they need to recruit and to ask more and more companies to join them.
So meetings in China, not in
No, instead.
So kind of incentive tours? It's kind of
It's kind
incentive?
of a meeting.
Is it a kind of incentive? Is it kind, do they try to motivate the consumers?
Yes,
That's what they do? They invite the people to Spain?
yes. The attendees is Spanish. Each people are Spanish. And the ceremony or the meeting is organized by Chinese company. And they want more and more Spanish company to join the company, to join the Chinese market. So they organize, and this is the successful, like this is 6 brand, 6 company. That's they get some award. That's successful. You know, maybe at the beginning, they select 50 or 40 companies, but the 6 is the winner. So it's clear?
Not really. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know. Is it kind of presentation in China?
It's a presentation
to present
in
the
Spain.
products
in
and the
Spain.
brand in Spain.
In Spain. At first, you must explain the Chinese market, and they help them, the Spanish company, to understand the Chinese market, and to work together.
So who is paying
Who's paying?
for the ticket and the flight and everything?
I will introduce later. You know, for all the cost, the meeting, of course, for the Chinese company, but of course, and some now they have the from the government, from the sponsorship from the government, I think, and just for at the beginning, just a meeting, it's not enough, but it depends on how much you have worked on it later. So never mind, we can talk it later and privately. That's the French team. They select Provence. At the beginning, they told me they want to select Bretagne. But that's a problem for them. Bretagne is not famous in China. Provence, they have the date for each day. There is 300,000 search on Chinese search engine, not Google. I hope you understand. Chinese people is forbidden to use the Google. And so they select Provence. Provence have the nature, have everything, the concept. So they select several products. But I know for the French companies, normally it's hard to talk and to persuade them to accept a new market, a new concept. So only maybe 6 or 4 companies join them. So they create a Provence company. Name is Provence. And they create a boutique on their on Alibaba marketplace, and sell these 6 or maybe 4, maybe more products come from these companies. But at present, totally failed. So I think there's some difference from the culture from the French and the Spain. So Spanish, we are different. You are different. Somebody, I think, you know, maybe not for now. For Spanish people, they would like to take the challenge. Of course, the risk and the cost. And for the French, no company would like to take the cost. So all the cost must come from this company. Like make a trouble in later. So you must do everything for each company. So which kind of companies can pay for all these companies for your marketing, for presentation, and to help you find out your selling point, to make a strategy, everything. It's complicated to do all these things for each companies. So at last they are in trouble. Of course, failed. And like this kind of products, they are claimed to be the #1 in France for the biologic products, cosmetic products. But now their sales volume is 0 on the Alibaba, the number one e-commerce market share. So I hope you can understand what happened. This is the ceremony and for the meeting with the Marseille government, city mayor and their government. So they signed the contract and create a new company, select several company. I know their nature don't belong to the Provence, they come from the Aquitaine. But they have some products take this place, join the Provence with the nature concept. And but now this is a soap, Marseille soap, and this is the bio cosmetic. This is the essential oil, and this is some kind of food products, and this is the eau de gazeuse. I don't know, I never tried. Floham is the biological cosmetic. So I know. So if you compare to the Spanish success story and the Provence failure story, you must know which kind of difference. From the meeting, you know, Spanish people are very aggressive. So lots of the companies join the meeting, and 6 of them are winners. For French companies, only a few companies would like to take the risk or challenge. And for the coast, it's difficult. You know, I have met with this guy. He's the director of a French company, a French division of the Alibaba Group. He told me during the last 5 years, he flight about 1 million miles, 5 years, to help a French company. But at last, he gave up. Where's the reason? He told me, the French companies normally don't like to take any challenge, risk, and of course, the cost. So this made everything difficult to develop. So at last, this project failed. So he gave up all these things. And now he works for the American companies. He resigned from the Alibaba Group. So this is sad for himself. He spent his 5 years to help a French company, but nobody joined them, and nobody like to share the work with them. So their team are failed. Okay, so from the list success story, if for the story, if you have, we can talk it later if you have some interesting. For the, I know it's hard to talk for the detail, but we can talk it later. Why Spain is so successful, and the French company from the Provence are not successful. There's a lot of the reason. And the next, I will talk with the trademark problem. The trademark belongs to the marketing. I know most of the companies don't at beginning don't care about your trademark, but that's really a trouble for all of you. If you lost the trademark, you will. It's illegal for you to develop a Chinese market, and you can't sell your product to all the distribution or all the platform. They will refuse you. At first, they will ask you to offer them your trademark in French or in China. If you don't have a trademark in China, I'm afraid they will refuse you. There's some different rules between the French, I know you call them EMBE, and Chinese, we call them CPMO. We have different rules. For example, if you want to register a trademark in France, it's easy, only 4 months. And each application, you can select 3 classes. For example, you can select cosmetic, clothing, and food. But in China, it's totally different. I know some French companies don't understand the difference between the rules. And some French lawyers don't understand the rules, the difference between the Chinese and for the French. So there are lots of companies just pay for the French lawyer, but the French lawyer don't understand the Chinese regulation. So they failed. Who should claim for the? I know the company is it's not their mistake for the French company, but French lawyer don't understand Chinese laws. It's true, so they are almost they are failed. So for the let me make an example for the Chinese regulation for the trademark. Like each application, we only can select for cosmetic products class 3, we only can select 10 products for each application. So if you want to pay like the one application in French, and you cannot take all the cosmetic, all the clothing, all the food products, and you only can select 10 products for your trademark. Of course, you can pay more to ask for more, but normally French companies don't understand. So sometimes they pay the French lawyer. They believe they get all the trademarks in China, but they failed, and they need to spend several years, maybe forever. They can never get it back. So I hope you can understand Chinese rules and the difference to the French rules. And this company, I have familiar with all of them. They are all in trouble for the trademark. I don't want to talk too much, but because they don't understand the rules, and their lawyer is not qualified for the Chinese rules. Even some of them, I have told them, be careful your trademark, but they don't do anything, so they lost it forever. And like this kind of, I think it's come from the Loire. Their trademark is in trouble. They need at least several years. Maybe they can get it back. But they have tried 2 years ago. They failed in Chinese law. And so it's complicated. Why? That's a story. At first, they register their French trademark in French. They separate with the B. First, they register the trademark with the family name, and the second, they register the B, their logo, with the trademark. But I don't know. Maybe there's a former Chinese partner. They know they want to register whole trademark, so they register first. And then there's no evidence from the WIPO and from the French MP. You are the first one use the whole logo with the B, with the English name. So they have tried to get it back for several years. It not worked. So they are just want to develop a cross-border business, because cross-border business don't need the Chinese trademark. So they want to try to develop a cross-border business. But now it's not successful. If you like, you can search. I can during the meeting, I will help you to how to use the Chinese toolkits to do some market research. For each month, the sales volume for each SKU, just the several products. I believe their Chinese partner will lose lots of money. So this is trouble for both of us, whatever Chinese partner or French companies. And like Sabatier is a knife company. It's famous before, but now they lost their trademark. Armolix with their some of the products. Just like I make an example before, that French lawyer don't understand to apply for all the products in China, not just one class. In French, it worked. In China, it not worked. So they lost. Okay.
So yes, about your previous slide with the difference between France and China. So it means that, for instance, in class 3, you can choose 10 different categories. But if you pay for, let's say, class 25 and class 29, then you can choose for 20 more categories.
Yes.
Okay.
You can pay
so
more.
The thing is, you have to pay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks.
But, okay, I want to give you some helpful suggestion. Don't use the French lawyer. You know, for example, if you contact the Chinese agency, for each application, maybe you pay for 300 or 400 euros. But if you want to pay the French lawyer, you must increase at least 1,000 euro for each application. Actually, they do nothing. They don't understand, just for the transfer the email between the Chinese agency. But if you can contact the Chinese agency, it's easy. And they understand the different rules. They will give us some suggestion. So if you are my friends, I will help you to contact them, to save the company, to save the money. And of course, don't make any mistake. Because these mistakes, it takes lots of the years if you want to get it back. Of course, lots of money. And this Gallimard, I have met with them in the Gahas. They lost their, what a pity, they lost the oldest perfume manufacturer in France. They are the supplier of the Louis Gados. But now, in Chinese market, they become a very cheaper perfume. So this is a problem because they lost the trademark. And the pomade is complicated. It's come from the Britannia, I know. So I know them. But their trademark is now it belong to the one of the Chinese supplier, Chinese distributor before. And they want to get it back, but they failed. So maybe they should ask me if I can give them some suggestion from the WPO documents and from everything, you know, and of course, charge them in the Beijing, not in Dalian. They failed because at first they select the Dalian because the distributor was located in Dalian, so they failed. You know, for the local government, normally want to help their local companies. Even the, you know, the judge. Okay. So all these companies, I'm familiar with them, and lots of the problem because you don't understand Chinese rules and Chinese regulation. So I hope I can help you to understand, to take care of it. For example, mistake, I have told this company, their CEO, to take care of the trademark, but he only trusts their French lawyer. So their trademark in China is not only the glasses code for the culinary products, for cuisine products. And when I told them, be careful, and he do nothing. So when I tried it this year, they lost everything on trademark. That's Hong Kong companies take all their products, all their trademarks on culinary products, because their French lawyer make a mistake. They select the wrong products, and maybe they just send an email to their Chinese agency, Chinese partner, and there's some mistake for the communication. So a company, for example, they lost their trademark in China forever. I know it's maybe they need several years to get it back, but it costs lots of the money. Okay, so this page is interesting. You know, it's a challenge for all of us. All this sentence come from the conversation I talk with the Britannic companies. So maybe This is the main problem for us to understand each other. The French people told me this, but Chinese platform and the Chinese distributor give us others reply. We can talk it in the next page. For this page, I think at the beginning, most of the French companies are proud of your quality. And you have good history, some companies have a good story. And, but now, for Chinese market, you are new, totally new products and a new branding. We don't understand your history. We don't know everything about you. But so you are a new player. So you must work hard or aggressive on everything to make the customer understand you and like your products. So if you never do these things work, our products made in France will be popular in China, it not worked. So if I talk with the Chinese partner or Chinese platform, there's a lot of the French company want to enter your platform. Normally they will say no, because they understand to develop a new market, a new brand, or new products is complicated. You must help them do presentation, help them to organize the story, help them to select the best seller products that focus on Chinese market, and lots of the paperwork. And you must communicate with lots of the customer and the partner and the distributor to introduce you. Normally, this work, they need half a year, 1 year, or 2 years for the new products or new brand in Chinese market. So I think it's hard to happen in Chinese market. So normally, if you talk this, the Chinese partner, Chinese platform, will refuse you, of course. So, and somebody told me, our pricing strategy in China is the higher the better. We want to build our high premium brand. This word comes from the Loire. And it's true, it comes from the Loire. And, you know, at the beginning, you know, Chinese market, Chinese customer don't understand you, or don't know you, don't familiar with you. But if you want to build your premium brand, and you must pay lots, work hard on the marketing, and of course pay more on the branding. And if a new player, it never worked. So I know some Britannic companies have sold the seat to Chinese market with the champagne price. You know the difference. So they failed. So like this kind of pricing strategy is a total mistake. You are cheating your customer. You'll be punished. So if you want to sell a seat with the champagne price, so I believe you will totally fail. And even you have some good quality in France, but you are not the premium in France, unless you can work harder to build your brand. Like the targeting marketing, I will talk it later. And I will introduce some European products. They are only targeting Chinese market to build their brand. Actually, the European, nobody don't know them. But in Chinese, they build their branding. But normally, they need a lot of time and a lot of money on marketing. So at the beginning, if your pricing strategy is the higher the better, I know the result is you failed and you lost several years. And maybe you can correct it, but maybe forever you will lose the opportunity. And last word come from some companies. You know, most of the companies want Chinese partner or Chinese distributor to buy lots of the products at first. But if I talk with the Chinese partner, for them, at first they will talk about the cost for new brand and new products. Normally, it needs several years and invest a lot of money on the new products. So if you do nothing at the beginning, you ask the Chinese importer to buy lots of the container products. Actually, they will lose their money, and they will fail. All of them will fail. So at the beginning, I think never talk like this. It's the partnership is not like this. You don't take any risk. Just want you Chinese importer take all the risk. It's not worked. So everybody know there's some. I have organized a meeting and invite 28 Chinese tele-shopping companies to come here. So we have the same products, same problem like this. The pricing strategy and the first order, don't ask too much, because your partner maybe lost their money. So you need to work hard together to develop the Chinese market. And you are the new player in this world #1 market. And somebody told me our selling point is our French quality. So I want to talk about with the French quality. In the February, that's baby products. I know from the lactase, I know from the milk, baby milk, there's some problem for the safety. And last month, there's another products for the baby fruit, like from the pomade. That's too much preservative and was destroyed by Chinese customer. And so their partners are totally lost the money. I believe, so there's, I don't know how much, but there's on the Chinese government notice, be careful for the French baby food products. At now, so I think most of the Chinese importer will take care of your quality, your products quality, especially for food. It's safety in China. If your products is destroyed, will be destroyed by Chinese customer, I think nobody like to cooperate with you forever. And there's another problem. We don't have the price list for Chinese market. I have met with maybe 30 or 40 companies during last year. But normally, they don't like offer us a price list for Chinese market. I have talked with them. Actually, everybody want to increase the price to Chinese market. Just like this kind of the method. We are the higher the better. We want to build our premium branding. So there will be a lot of the mistakes. If you don't have a price list, you must understand, for the Chinese partner and the Chinese platform, at first, they will track your brand, track your trademark, and track your story and history. They will track your price, of course. If your price are higher than Germany, higher than American, higher than Australia, higher than Japanese, normally they will refuse. I know in French market and normally French products price is higher than the other countries. But if you cannot building your premium brand at first, so nobody can accept the price you want to increase for each product. So normally the French company or Britannic company just give us several products price. There's some mistakes, no more than €2. What kind of a product no more than €2? And some Chinese understand it's €1. And you told me it's €1.8. So that's a misunderstanding. So at the beginning, if you make a strategy, including the branding strategy and the pricing strategy, you must do market research. If everybody you like it, I can introduce you, use your mobile phone, and use the #1 Chinese e-commerce platform to take a research. You don't need to understand Chinese word. Just type some English word of your branding. of the branding or competitor you have interest, you will understand is they are successful or not, and their pricing and their price in Chinese market is how much. So for French Sardine products, somebody want to give us a EX work price with €3. But if I want to talk to you, in Chinese market, only the under €1 survival. All the Spanish, Portugal, and Italian, they are all failed. Because nobody can build a premium brand in Chinese market. And of course, nobody invest on it. Nobody would like to spend you several years to do this work. So if your EX works is much higher than the Chinese market for the other your competitor for the other countries, nobody can take the risk. That's another problem. We never invest on marketing at first. We only invest after. Some of the company told me, sorry, we have confidence on our products. We will be successful in Chinese market. But if I ask them to invest on marketing, they will refuse. No. And they always hope others to take the cost. You know, for the Chinese distributor, they don't have time to take several years to help you, to cooperate with you. Normally, it's the best way for them to select the best seller products. It's easy to get their money back. And if you want them to invest on your marketing, because this brand is belong to you. So normally, nobody like to take this. So I have, for me, I have invested on several products for marketing, but I know all of them don't like to pay anything. So this is a problem. Who can invest several years to help you building brand, and with the small, little sales volume? So develop Chinese markets is not so easy. And so we talk too much on the French company, what they are thinking. Now I will give you a sample for the Denmark. I know in French, in Britain, there are lots of the biscuit companies. At present, only 2 or 3 products look like successful. I know their brand, but if we want to talk, we can talk it later in detail. But they are not successful enough because Chinese market is big enough. This Denmark cookie building the brand in China, only in China. And actually, the designer is a Hong Kong company and Hong Kong designer. All the packaging is designed by Hong Kong, but lookalikes really come from the Denmark, because the Hong Kongers understand which kind of packaging Chinese customer like. The most successful is this kind of products, and their price from made in Denmark only the half price of the Britain. So for each year, they export to Chinese market 500 million euros. But all the French companies add up to no more than 100 million US dollars. So you must understand why they are successful. They are just a small factory. And there's a new plans. I think it's a new plans. And nobody knows them in Europe. You cannot find them in French market. So this is the positioning strategy and like a kind of targeting marketing. And they have concept from the Queen Margaret too. Of course, in Denmark, it's easy to get this authorization. But for Chinese customer, they think they are good quality. Of course, their packaging look like Hoyala, and so for the customer, would like to choose this kind of products, and their price are lower than the French products, and all their story, all their packaging is targeting Chinese customers. If you want to build your premium brand, I hope this is a good example for all of you. So they are the #1 biscuit in Chinese market. Of course, the import products. So they use the concept Hoyala. They use the authorization from the cream. So they are easy. They design the packaging by Chinese, and they make the story and all the marketing by Chinese marketing team. So they are the #1 almost 20 years. And the next page is some successful products. Maybe you never heard, but they are successful. They are the #1. This first, I think, is the most successful cosmetic products from the American, the MAC. And actually, only a few Chinese customers know they come from the American. And most of my friends believe it comes from French. Yes, so they use the French concept and the word. So they are the world #1 luxury cosmetic products. Maybe this Swiss, for these healthy nutrition products, you never heard, or you never met them in French market, but they are the #1. They invest on Chinese market maybe 10 or maybe more than 10 years. They get all the authorization, get everything. So they are the best seller products on each distribution channel, on each platform. So everybody like to take this because they have the volume. It's a lot of the volume, sales volume, and their price is not too much. It's cheaper. So they are successful. They come from the Australia. So it's a good story we can learn from them. And list them honey products. They are expensive with the Manuka concept. I think only a few French people ever heard about the Manuka. But Chinese customer like this. They can pay 30 or 50 euros to buy honey. But they believe this kind of products will help them healthy. So healthy is a good concept for Chinese market. If your product is good for the healthy, you'll be success. So they make a new concept with the UMF. They make a new stand. You know, I have met with lots of the sardine or seafood products, but made in French normally prices are higher. But if you can use the positioning or positioning strategy, you know, for most of the customers don't understand the MDD brand, don't understand the traditional products, don't understand the medicine name products. What kind of products? The difference. Of course, if you can persuade them to understand, for each quality, for each level, they should have the different price. Like this kind of honey products. That's the most expensive, but they are the best seller products in Chinese market. So they build a new brand, a new standard for healthy. They have unique ingredients. They give their new name, UMF. Nobody, no customer understand the difference, but they believe it's helpful for the healthy. So they are very successful. But at the beginning, I know their story. They first invest by themselves to create a company in China, take care of everything, from the marketing, from the branding, and from the import. Of course, for the Australian peoples, they just like American people. They look like to take the challenge. They don't care about the risk. So for Chinese market, it's big enough. So they are success. So I hope you can, some companies can learn from them. But I know it's difficult to make a marketing strategy to target the Chinese market. And Maoist, I think for each year, last year, they're selling to their revenue almost 60 million euros. But Chinese market, they are best seller products. And maybe French people don't know familiar them, but it comes from the Italy. And the next product is the Godiva. You know, in American market, in United States, it's not expensive. But in China, they're very expensive. But how can they make it true? Because they change their imaging in China. They become luxury products. Actually, it comes from the Belgium before. And after the American company acquired them, make the marketing project in China. And now it belongs to the Turkish. So it's a Turkey luxury brand in Chinese market, only in Chinese market. So of course, they do lots of work on marketing, on branding. But now they are the most successful and best seller chocolate products. And they have lots of the boutique in China. The last, maybe for these culinary products, they're not for French people, don't care about it. But they're the number one. For the teleshopping channels each year, for the one channels, for the top 3 channels, one channel will sell them almost 100 million yuan for each year for these brand products. Of course, they are smart. They are part of made in Germany, part of made in China. They combine it together. So for French products, it's hard to compare with them on price. And they are good on marketing. So Chinese customer believe it's the best quality European products. Actually, in France and in other countries, they are not well known at all. So all this target marketing is they have good preparation and a good marketing strategy. So they are successful. And during this page, I want to explain how the Chinese distributor or platform, because I have talked with all of them, almost all of them, top 3, top 5, and to get them reply. But it's interesting and funny for their reply. This word comes from the Costco. So, you know, at the beginning, they do the same things. They are good at the food products. So they want to import lots of the European products. Of course, they pay at first. But after several years, they lost their money every year. So they never get a profit. Even they come from the Costco, their e-commerce department. So this word, they told us, without marketing and consulting, stop it. Because they have invested and spent lots of time to help each new brand, to help you make the strategy, make a plan, everything, and help you to design your page and everything, to catalog everything. They all need time and money. So they insist the marketing and the consulting should be invested by yourself and by French company or by European company. They never invest on it because they lost lots of time and lots of money. They lost the opportunity. So at first, they will ask you, do you have the marketing and the consulting support? Or just like, do you want to invest by yourself for your brand, for your marketing? If you're not, okay, they will refuse. And the best products don't mean it will be successful in China. I want to introduce from our food, Chinese and Asian, we eat difference. So the Korea food and the Japanese food is easy to get Chinese market. So you must understand, if you choose the bati to Chinese customer, they don't know how to eat it. We don't have the baguette. I hope you understand. We don't have the baguette. So if you choose the other products, maybe Chinese can accept it. So you cannot select your best seller products in France to Chinese market. You better select another one, another selection that the Chinese people will be accepted. This word from another platform. Actually, if you tell Chinese market, you need our products. Actually, they will refuse. They will tell no. We have lots of the products. We are happy. We have all kinds of products from the local brand, from local companies, and from the successful American, the Japanese, Korea, German, and Australian. And if you want me to accept your products, you need time. And I never heard or I never understand. So you know, at present, most of the Chinese are not familiar with the European food products. Of course, biscuit is easy. So Denmark company is success. But for the other products, like for the pork, like for the fish, seafood, it's complicated. But the seafood, the oyster from the Bukatani is the best. The Chinese customer accept this concept. Bukatani, oyster, eat is the best. We accept it. And that's another reply. If you just want to give your products to a distributor, they will ask you marketing support. You know, they are just a businessman to do some trading. If you ask them to do some creative, to do some marketing jobs, they don't have the enough resource to do it. Of course, they need some investment and need some time. They need some smartest people to join them, to help them, give them a new concept, a new positioning, and a new strategy. If you want a trader to do these things, they can't. The last word is very important. Change your mind from trading to branding. You know, at the beginning, maybe several hundred years ago, Chinese tea is a luxury product in Europe. I hope everybody understands it. But now, Chinese tea don't have any branding here. So trading Chinese tea is not easy. So if you want to sell your products to Chinese market, you cannot just do the trading job. I give you my products to you. I give you authorization to sell you my products. You can get lots of money back. So this kind of a man is totally wrong. So this word comes from actually it's a discussion, it's a conversation from the American, from some European peoples. They are doing business in China. They are importer, but they are trouble in this mind changing from the trading to the branding. Trading is easy, but it's hard to sell. And the branding is easy. If you have the building a brand, everybody would like to accept your products. So I hope you can understand. If several hundred years ago, Chinese products are luxury products. At last, I will give you an example. For the Gothenburg, it's a Sweden business ship. For each time they traveling to the China, they take the goods. It's half 50% their GDP. But now, the time change. So we must change our mind. For Chinese tea, it's a good example. And maybe this for some company will have interest for the CFDA. Yes, this is the first for the authorization you must get from the cosmetic and healthy products. But for healthy, I have met with some companies. I know it costs lots of money. So I give you a suggestion. Stop to try to get healthy products from CFDA. You need several years and lots of money. And so you should better go to the cross-border market, and you don't need it. But for the cosmetic products, you can go to the cross-border marketplace, the same. But you should better try it because it's easy and not too much. Only maybe the half year you can get the authorization. Of course, you need some cost. Here is the address. If you want to track the government announcement for each kind of the products and healthy cosmetic products and healthy products, you can track the web page, hyperlink. Maybe somebody will don't understand Chinese. It's okay. You know, you can use the Google Translate. You know, understand what they say, and which products already get authorization, and they have some announcement for this link. It's from the SFDA government website. I think it may be helpful for you. It's a hyperlink. You can remember it. Here is the rules for the CFDA, and normally you will need for the analyst for the laboratory for the test, give them some samples. Normally need 2 or 3 months. You can get the result from the CFDA, and from the CFDA authorized laboratory. In China, maybe 20 or 30 laboratories have the authorization, can help you to get the test result. And when you get it, you can apply your CFDA on their website. It's easy.
Yes, just if you could explain, so you said that if we needed CFDA, so we could go cross-border without
CFDA, yes.
Without. Okay, so it means, for instance, that if we are in Hong Kong,
yes,
we can work on the Chinese market without CFDA.
You know, that's a new concept. In China, actually, you don't. Hong Kong is a China, but that's another free trade zone. You can search the keywords, free trade. So it's open to the foreign products, and that's maybe 20 cities have their free trade zone, and your products can import at there and distribute it to the Chinese customer one by one. So that's what kind of, we name them cross-border business.
But if we have a distributor in Hong Kong, who is selling to shops in China,
Hong Kong,
so it's not B2C.
You know, Hong Kong, that's a problem. You should better. I think the best selection is in Chinese city free trade zone, and it's legal, and the customer can buy your products on the cross-border online marketplace, and they will pay 11.7% for each kind of products, including the cosmetic, including the most of the products. Normally just one tax, 11.7. So I know you are all familiar with Hong Kong, but now there's a lot of the free trade zone in Shanghai, in Chongqing, in Ningbo, Tianjin, lots of the city. You can try it, and you don't need a CFDA authorization. Your products can go there, and of course you must find a Chinese partner to help you to sell the products. And there's another way, to Shanghai. For the cosmetic products, you can go to Shanghai. Shanghai now is the first place that have the express channel. There's the Shanghai website link, hyperlink. If you want to go Shanghai, it's easy for cosmetic and maybe healthy products. And let's compare. Okay, it's not clear. But normally for the CFDA, you need to go to Beijing to get authorization. But that's another way. You can get them from the Shanghai. It's express China. Maybe 2 or 3 months you can get it. 3 months you can get it. It depends on the efficiency. I know maybe some companies have issued the CNCA. I know only not all French companies have the CNCA. It's complicated. And for seafood, it's easy. But for pork and pork products, it's complicated. So I have helped you to, I have asked the consulting company. They can help you to do the project to get the registration from the CNCA. Normally, they need 12 months. Normally. But it depends on the situation, and nobody knows. And at first, of course, you must prepare lots of the paper, and to fill in the form, everything, to prepare all the documents from the French government. But the most important things, the difficult things, you must ask the Chinese embassy help. They give you authorization, they give you permit to contact the Chinese government, to give you all the papers, they give you a stamp. So why the pork products is difficult. This is the detail for the applicants required, everything. I hope you can, if you want to do this, you must prepare everything by yourself first. And the documents needs are here. It's too much. If you have interest, you must prepare all these things. This comes from the consulting company. They are doing this kind of consulting business every day, so they are good at this kind of registration. Okay, they told me their price is almost 40. I don't know, it's maybe expensive, but it's complicated. 1 year or maybe more than 1 year to work on this project. And here is the progress procedure from all the registration. You can, if we want to ask their help, you can contact them. And here is I have the contact information. So if you need, you can ask me. You can contact them by yourself. And here is the link, CNCA link, foreign manufacturers list. If you do the research, you will know there are 4 companies in France get the registration. That's a name on in the letter. And the guide is the guide what we should do and all the documents you need. But the most important thing is they need to do for pork products. They need to on spot. They want to come to France. They will come to France to visit your plants. It's mostly complicated. So why this is difficult? And the documents, all the documents you need, all the forms you need, is on this hyperlink. And if you can check it, you must understand there's a lot of things you need to do. And at present, only these kind of products have the authorization. 4, only 4 products for the pork products. Porcelain and Bastide. Delepihat. So I don't know how to spell it. Delepihat. Okay, and this comes from the Loire. I know. It's the Couson products, pork product. It's a new player, and then it's the newest one. Get the registration. There is not 4. Last year, just 3. And here is the list from the CNCA for import of French meat products and which company get the registration. Now, only 4 companies. Oh, for this kind of products, I don't know. It's for the some company. I don't know. It's from the if you have the some working on the pet food. You know, pet food is a good business in China. You need the AQSIQ for registration. It's a different CNCA, CFDA, and AQSIQ. You can AQSIQ call this, and they need the almost the same procedure for the application. And here's the hyperlink. Like the French company get the registration on pet food. Now only one company, the Royal Canin, only one company, but it now belongs to the American group. It's acquired by American group. So if I remember there's a pet food company in the list, but I know if they have interest, okay, you can check this. And I have asked one consulting company. They are working on this for every day. They give me the times. They need 18 months to work on this. The cost, just like this. It depends on how much work, and it's difficult. And here's the procedure and everything. If you want to do, you must prepare all these things. Okay. And if you for the pet food, that's something you can. If you get the AQSIQ registration, you can start with the cross-border business. And if you want to export to Chinese market, you must get the MOA at the same time. So if you get AQSIQ, you can start cross-border business. And if you want to export to Chinese market more, you can try the MOA registration. For the each SKU, you need 6 months. And here is the list for everything, your requirement, the guide. You can check it by yourself. And if you have trouble with the Chinese word, don't forget there's something called Google Translate. It will help you. Of course, this part of it's important for each platform, and the cost is much expensive than everybody has think about. For the cross-border business, the number one, the Tmall Global, here is the technical service fees for each year. Not too much. It's 30,000 yuan and 60,000 yuan, almost almost 5 to 10,000 euros for each year. And but you must deposit for the security. If your products have the quality problem, you deposit, you lost. At least it's 150,000. Well, 150,000 yuan for each kind of products, and sometimes for the milk powder and for the nutrition products will be double for the deposit. So if you want to develop a Chinese market by yourself, you can try it. Here is the standard, the partner. Of course, you can hire some operation trade partner to help you to operate all your business online on Chinese market, but they need a lot of money, add up to, of course. So this is just the entrance fees, and a lot of money. You need to hire a whole team to help you. This is JD.com. They have the same, but because they are the number 2 on the whole e-commerce market, so they are cheaper than the Alibaba Tmall Global. So here's all their process. You can contact them if you like. Here's their BD team email address. You can contact them. maybe they can give you some address. But Tmall Global, that's very important. They don't accept you at the beginning. If you have interest on you, they will contact you. So initiative to attract investment. So only they confirm you have the opportunity in Chinese market, they will contact you because they are arrogant, they are number one. For the JD.com, it's cheaper. It's $50,000 for the deposit, and each year you must pay the 1,000 of their commission from 2 to 8. And there is another cross-border marketplace, but they claim to buy directly products, but actually they're smart. They don't buy the new brand. Normally, they will direct to purchase for the famous brand, and so they can sell their products with good price. They don't need a distributor, but for the new products, they need a distributor to take all the risk, take all the investment. If we want to contact with them, there's some link in English. You can contact with them to ask their reply or feedback on your products. Maybe they can give you some suggestion. For all these kind of products, they are all successful on Chinese market. So they prefer to cooperate to purchase this kind of products. That's another platform, like a Chinese version, 1PV. We have some cooperation. If you want to get your cosmetic or healthy or clothing products, they are good platform, just like 1PV. Of course, they need lots of things for your branding, introduction, and trademark, and authorization, everything. You must prepare. And normally, they don't like to take the challenge for new products. But you can try if you want to cooperate with them. Here's the email address for their BD team. If you want to try, you can contact them by yourself. By English, it's OK. And there's their guide. If you want to familiar with this platform, you can contact with them by yourself. OK, here is maybe the last. At last, so normally there's some problem for the 30 or 40 companies I have met. I have met with them before during last year. So most of them don't have any market research. I have told you, I want to explain to you, market research is the first thing you must do. You don't understand which one is your competitor. How can you make a strategy, make your price list? So you must understand which is your competitor. If you told me you don't have a competitor, I think it will not work. So normally you have a competitor in China, but who are they? You must find out. And how about their price and their sales volume? You can use the app on your mobile phone or on your computer, like Taobao.com. For example, it's the best way to get in touch with Chinese market. If you search on Henaf, there's somebody selling Henaf on Taobao, but now it's illegal. So if you search some kind of sparkling wine or some products, if you don't understand how to type the Chinese word, you can ask me. And of course, I want to suggest you use if you want to develop Chinese market, your first thing, don't try the email. Chinese people don't like email. Do you understand? We use WeChat. So everybody is on WeChat. If you download the WeChat app on your mobile phone, I will easy to introduce you to everybody I know. All my friends, all my family is on WeChat. So if somebody already have WeChat, so we can easy to communicate. By email, it's difficult. because all their business, all their family relationship is on WeChat. It's the #1 communication tools. So I hope everybody come here. At least you can try the WeChat to talk with the Chinese people and the Chinese partner. It's easy. Everybody on there. So I can introduce it to anybody to you. It's easy. I can help you to build a group. And if some company or some partners want to contact you, it's easy. But the email is old-fashioned in China. So everybody will work on the WeChat. I want to tell you the truth. But the French people, only a few people know. So I have some companies WeChat. They are good. They understand Chinese. So this is the first step. So market research, talk about market research. If you search on the #1 marketplace e-commerce, they are not all the Chinese market, but I want to, maybe the e-commerce, just 20 to 25% of the whole market share place in China. But it's a good example to make. It's enough for make the market research. You will know who is competitor, their price, their selling volume, and does they are successful or not. For some companies, if I search their sales volume on Taobao on internet, I will know they are not successful or they are already failed. For example, if you're selling some products already expired for the safety date, I will know your partner failed. So this is the best way to do market research on internet by yourself. If you don't know, if you need the Chinese word, you can use the WeChat to contact me. Don't ask me in email. It's complicated. So you can ask me. I can give you a keyword. You know, I'm a former journalist, so keyword is my best job. I can use a keyword to help you link all Chinese people, all Chinese market share and market research. You can do research. Of course, you can type your brand in English. It's the most easy way. And you competitors, like workers, if you want to do research, okay, you can know them each month. They sell 700. It's not good enough. So everybody, I think you can do the research. You can understand. You can know your company, how much they are selling products in Chinese market. They are just a part of the market share, but it's enough for the sample. Normally, the successful products, they are successful online and offline at the same time because they are popular. Everybody knows. So it's a good sample from the internet. From long-term strategy, I know it's complicated. If you don't do the marketing research, if you don't building a brand, it's complicated. So long-term, you need long time. And for the brand positioning, so I hope you can the Britannic company have a branding to building brand to aggressive on this kind of jobs. If you do nothing, or you don't like to take the challenge, the risk, the job, it needs lots of the time. So nobody can help you to do all these works. So why normally lots of the company, I know them before, they are not successful. Whatever they are successful in France or in Europe, they are totally failed in China. Even some company, they have 1 billion euros revenue or 1.3 billion euros revenue in China, but almost zero in China. So you must find the problem. Nobody know you. Okay, your price is a little higher, but you can use the positioning strategy to give the different standard to the customer. Okay, you need a good story to build a brand. So it's complicated. And the risk taking is the most problem. Normally, I know French people don't like to take the risk or challenge, but American people like it. And now Australian people like it, German people like it, Spanish people like it. I hope more and more French people like the challenge, the risk, because this is the best way to develop a new market. Actually, Chinese market is big enough, but you need time. Okay, at last, I want to use 3 sheep to finish my work. to finish my talk. And here, the first, I believe nobody knows them. Actually, in the year 1405, 600 years ago, 600 years before, China is the number one on the marketing. We are the number one 600 years ago. But European people don't understand, don't know it. But this is a famous people. Here, his name is Zheng He, and he go their trip to the Africa. So they found, whoa, all the country are so poor, and they have nothing. So they're satisfied for China. For we are, you know, China in Chinese word, the center of the world. Do you know the name? China in Chinese word is the center of the world. So he let the emperor, the king, make the wrong mistake, make the deep mistake. We are the center of the world. We are the number one. Actually, 600 years ago, it's true. So he destroyed all the ships. So, and closed all the border of the sea, closed the country. So we lost in recently 200 years or 300 years. So now we have to be number 2 of the world. But 600 years ago, we are the number 1. So I want to use this sweep to persuade you must understand how to change your position, to understand what Chinese people and your partner think about. Somebody told me, you need us. Maybe, but we have a lot of the selection. For example, for me, I have a lot of selection because I work hard. I know lots of story. I know the Britannic story more than most of Bukadong. So I can make some story, make some video for the meeting and for the branding. I have to do less work. So because I have spent a lot of time to do the culture. Now I'm a member of the journalist for patrimoine, but I'm the only one don't speak French. So I know lots of the French story because I like it. I'm a former journalist. So and the second ship is Gothenburg from the 300 years ago. For the last time, each time they traveling to China, they take the 50% GDP to back to Sweden, because 300 years ago, Chinese products are luxury products. Chinese tea are luxury products. So this is a trading century. If you successfully selling to China, you can take a lot of money back. So if you always think as the 300 years ago, you lost lots of the opportunity. And so I hope you can keep up with the time. If you want to go China, get a lot of money back. But it's 300 years ago, it's a trading century. Now, it's a branding century. It's a marketing century. So it's a totally different. We don't sort of any products. We are happy. We can buy everything. So this is the Chinese customer give you response. Unless you can make a good story, good positioning strategy to tell them, we are better. Maybe they can accept a higher price, the premium brand. But you must do lots of work and job on it. The last one is the autoimmune. I know lots of people are proud of it. It saved the United States. So I have visited their boat. I know their captain. They want to sail into China, but then French companies don't have the money to help them. They need 3 million euros to make the dream true, to sailing to China. But of course, not business. For there's another century of the trading. So they need some companies to want to help them to do some marketing, branding with them. So this is the different centuries, different story. I want to finish my presentation. Maybe you can, I hope you can understand what I'm thinking and Chinese market is thinking, a Chinese distributor, Chinese partner thinking, and the problem. If you want to talk with me in private, it's okay. I have enough time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Frank, for your explanation and for your presentation. Is there some question in the room?
I have one question regarding the trademark protection. What would be your recommendation in order to register your brand before finding a potential partner, distributor, or at the same time working with him? Because the main risk would be that you get stolen your product or your brand by your future partner.
I understand. These kind of things only happened several years ago, but now it never happened because there's a Chinese new law to stop it. So like family marriage, they can use the new regulation to take it back. I have told them. I hope they can do some job to get it back. And my suggestion, register your trademark in China as soon as possible by yourself. Stop contact the French lawyer. They're expensive and useless. You can contact Chinese agency. If you need a link, you need contact information. Download the WeChat, contact me. I'm always 24/7 hours. You can contact me. I will give you some contactor, and you can ask their help. They're cheaper and high efficiency. If you don't want to invest several hundred euros on your trademark, I believe nobody can help you.
China is very big. So do you think the communication in China can be the same for the whole country, or can it be different from one region to another one?
Yes, it works. But this is the century of the internet age. So internet is the best way to do marketing. So internet is no border. So if you always think about the region concept, it's not worked.
I mean, the way you talk to consumer. I mean, for instance, in some countries there are big differences between the different regions. So in China, I mean, can you talk on the same way to whole China, or are they differences?
Okay, in China we have lots of people, but normally the rich guys in the big city, so Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. So if you are French products, if you want to successful, you better start from the list top 5 cities. Even the one city like Beijing and Shanghai is big enough for French companies. So my suggestion, if you can success in one city is enough. It's big enough.
What kind of budget do you recommend for the promotion of the brand in China? What is your recommendation, and what is your recommendation on the way to communicate?
Okay, there's lots of ways. For the traditional ways, I know French people like to do advertising on TV, on street, everything. But yes, but in China it's the same. It's very expensive. So if you are a new player, my suggestion is better way to on the social network or on the internet. It's cheaper and high efficiency because you cannot compete with the local company. They are richer than you. They are aggressive than you. They have lots of money invest on the local television and the advertising on magazine, on newspaper. Actually, the newspaper almost died. So television may be good for several years, but later I think it's the new media, like social media, like internet media, is the most important you can start with.
What about the budget? What can we imagine?
What?
The cost.
The cost?
Yeah, the indicative cost for.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can give you an example. Last year, Denmark embassy, they have a social campaign. Actually, they don't invest too much. They have a good story. They claim to there's a loss of the Denmark oyster. Nobody to eat it, so they want to invite the Chinese customer to eat it. It's a kind of a joke, but it's spread all over China. So if you have a good story, it's cheaper. So I hope you can have some creative joke, maybe some creative idea to make it true, to lower your price. If you just want to invest on advertising, if you think as advertising, it's expensive, just like the French. But if you have a creative, you have good story, maybe easy. So everybody know Denmark have lots of the seafood, and so they're successful. Lots of the customer and the distributor want to cooperate with the Denmark companies. So.
Just a comment. I see the film that you have made for some of the company here in Brittany, and it's very important to explain the history, the environment of the company and the product. Yeah, can you develop that?
I understand. Thanks, Eric. You know, I'm a former journalist, so I do some marketing job or investment for several companies, maybe 2 or 3. But you know, it needs lots of time to understand you, to help you find your selling point. For me, I'm a Chinese. I only live in Paris for several years. Some story I don't know. So I have to ask the Google and the Wiki help to understand your product selling point. So if you can help us, it's more easier. But if you do nothing, I will need several months on the paperwork to make a conclusion, where is your selling point, and to organize a video team, to pay for everything, to help you make a good presentation, and spread the presentation on internet and social network. You know, I'm a blogger in China, not too much, just 100,000 followers, just the beginning, maybe more and more in future, but I'm busy, so I don't have time to write my blogger to my social account. So I want to make some new jobs challenge. For me, it's easy. I have a good story. I have a good music. I have good everything. So it's easy to spread. So I can help you to get millions of viewers in China. But it depends on your story and your products. So so we need, if just we do this investment, not work. So if somebody want to try it, we can cooperate on marketing, because this what kind of things we are doing, or we are prefer to work on it. So we are waiting for your good story. So, but if you ask me to invest almost all the cost, I know it's on fire. So we can talk it in privately. But I know the Brittany, the most problem is most of the customers I never heard Brittany in China. And so Brittany region, I have familiar with all the cities almost, and your story, so everything, your history, but you must work hard on yourself to present your region, your products, and your story, your history to Chinese market. So I have some way to help you. So don't need too much, but it depends on you and your products. But we can talk it later.
Okay.